Welcome everyone. Today we'll have a new build alteration for the latest Spiritborn for Season 6 after the update. So what I want to show you guys is, you saw a 1000 trillion over here. And let me see if I can pause on a big number that popped up. So this particular build is actually quite interesting, and I'm playing in slow mode to show you guys some of the huge damage numbers I came across while I was testing in pit 150. So look at this elite. In a few seconds, this will disappear. So keep in mind we're playing in slow mode, so this is why they die a little slower. So this is 13,000 trillion. It's like 13 quadrillion. Yes, I have been damage testing in pit 150, and I have made it to pit 150 following the latest Chinese build. So the build definitely works. And in case you guys are wondering, the previous video we watched the Chinese content creator 3-shot the boss. Now there are some drawback of the build which I'll go through with you guys, but the build is crazy. He did, how much did he do? I don't think he did the 13 trillion like me, but he was doing, I think, thousands, 3,700 trillion with multiple hits. And this build has one of the highest damage potential to hit hard in the game. Now again guys, there are some drawback for the build, so stay tuned, let me explain everything. Now let me explain what's happening and what I have adjusted compared to his build and how they are hit harder. So what he was using and what I was using is, I'm using these particular aspects of the exploit, and the exploiter allows us to do more damage against unstoppable enemies. Not all the elites are unstoppable, but some of them are, and also the boss is always unstoppable. This is how you can one-shot the boss. I have adjusted for the shot of forced death, and I was lucky to get maximum life as a greater FX. And over here, I am still using the redirect force for higher critical damage, and we're still having 2 pieces of gears with maximum resolve. So we don't have resilient anymore. Now the glove is what makes this interesting. The Chinese community really look into this glove for this particular legendary FX, and this seems to be the highest damage dealing multiplier, and this actually eats up double dipping for multiple ways of stacking more damage. So you are stacking way more damage coming from the Jaguar effect. So here, let me show you. So the Jaguar effect is here, right? You stack all your damage for the last 0.5 seconds. And because of this glove, what it seems to be happening is, it is double dipping for a lot higher damage. And going through the build, and let me briefly summarize what's happening with the build. And what I should do is, I should put the speed back to normal, right? So here you can see the playback speed, I'll just go normal speed. So before I was going with faster speed. So in terms of this build, it works wonderfully against packs of elites. When you come across pack of elites and you basically grind on them, or you focus on the purple one first. So at the start I was killing the purple one because that's got damage reduction. After the damage reduction, what I'm doing is I'm just focusing on my mouse onto one of the elites, and within 10 to 30 seconds they will pop like a pinata. So the build has great damage potential, and this focus on killing groups of enemies super fast. And there you go. So basically facing a bunch of elites, I can group them up and I pop them. And as long, this is the biggest drawback of the build, as long there's no purple champions that gives damage reduction. When there's damage reduction, the build does seems to be falling off a little bit compared to most other builds. And I think we just popped a bunch of elites. So what I do is I can share you guys some of the replays of me damage testing using this build. And as you watch this particular replay, you can see that it is not instant, the damage rank up. You are casting the hunt, you are casting multiple spells, and this will take anywhere from 10 to 30 seconds for you to see thousands of trillions. It will work if you follow the build, but the drawback is sometimes against the, the damage reduction elite, that is not good. So notice here I pop them super quickly after some rotations, and I pop them to lower into injury threshold for me to do even high damage against them. That's 103 trillion very casual damage, right? So the build has the highest damage potential, and again the drawback is facing those champion monsters that provides damage reduction. Now over here, compared to the previous video, I will be making the variation for you guys. So what happened is he was using a legendary chest, and here I'm using the mythical chest. The mythical chest is great in all stats and also maximum life. And because of this, my intelligence is much higher. And I can afford to have all the barrier gems in here for myself. And also at the same time, the Chinese players have not put points into the follow through, which I did. I have removed some points over here and also some points over here to get 3 points into follow through to deal even higher damage. Now I do think, guys, the damage potential using this chest is definitely the highest. And I think after some testings, I think the circle, the Mystic Circle is more consistent damage, while this one has much higher burst potential. Now, for those of you that is interested in my gear stats, I'll briefly hover over them, and I also have a small replay of showing you the highest damage numbers. It is a little harder to capture all the damage, and my gears are not perfectly crafted. I did get lucky with the weapon, because after the nerf, or after the patch change from the previous, we'll call this the nerf, so it wasn't triggered twice, now this triggers twice, and I was quite lucky to have this weapon. So in terms of the skills, again, I'll hover this for you guys so you can have a look what I've perked. It is a little harder to see here. I recommend going to the builder's guide, and I'll have the variant version to show you guys. And what I recommend is, so what you want to do is, you want to come to this builder's guide. I'll be making a variant, and you want to click on the variant on the top. So this one is a 3700 trillion version that kind of 3-shot the boss, and I'll have my own variant using the mythical chest. You want to click on here, so let me add the variant. So I do 13KT. So you want to click on this variant, and what you want to do is, so this is the previous setup, this is the new setup. You want to click onto this setup to see the highest damage numbers that I did using my own variant. Now, in case you guys are wondering, in terms of the glyphs and also paragons, I followed to the Chinese content creator. I'm using Kenny, I'm using Colossal, using Fulminate, using Majorist, and also using Spirit. And yes, those are the ones he used for the highest damage proc build. And basically, it's a hard hitting build. Now, before I finish the video, a lot of viewers have been asking me about the 275, and I do want to show you guys, or I do want to go through with you guys. So notice that here we have a 275. And what you want to see is you need to understand this, because if I take away the chest, notice that it's no longer 275. On my screen, this button is always flashing between 35 and also 275. This is what you want to avoid. One of the reasons we're using this chest, and only because you use this chest, you're constantly having 275 because of the bonus intelligence, which allows you to achieve this constantly. And this is how you do the highest damage. If you find yourself to not having this chest, I recommend following the previous build, because of the stats and also choices will allow you to have 275. And once you have 275, you save 1 point from here. You're no longer needing extra vigor. And this point can go to armor height, or go over here, or even go over here for more defense and also more damage. And this by far is the most important factor. During this time, you want to have maximum life, you want to have dexterity, you also want to have more all stats, which will help you to boost high damage together with increased maximum life potion. I'll highlight the potion for you guys that helped me to achieve this. So this is the 500 life potion, this is the dexterity, this is the all stats, and finally this is the maximum life. And those are the potions I used, which achieve 31,000 maximum life during combat. And the spirit heart I'm using is still Jaguar and also Gorilla. And this allows me to have a little bit more damage because I'm not using the circle. I have heard if you're using the circles, you don't use Gorilla, you use something else for more ferocity. And in terms of the followers, I am using the Defender over here on the side, as you guys can see. And here, as in terms of the reinforcement, we're using Bloodthirst whenever in combat, which I should change this actually. I think it is recommended to cast this one when the hunt is casted, and this allows you to do the highest damage because of the attack speed boost. Now, similar to other videos, I'll provide you guys with this short testing replay of showing you the strength and also weakness of this build. The strength is you pop the elites like pinatas, you hit massive numbers. The weakness is when you find damage reduction elites, well, this gets troublesome. Your combos is not consistent, it takes 10 to 30 seconds to rank up. And if you're doing your combos and they have damage resistance, there's not much we can do. And this is the downside. So this is why in this run, which was very short, I was not happy. There's too many damage resistance creeps and I have to kill them first before I get my combo going. So this is when the circle, the Mystic Circle build may be more consistent in killing the elites that provides the damage reduction. And I do want to warn you guys because of this. Without those monsters, this build will be the best, right?